What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another live edition of the Dawgs podcast, coming to you virtually from our homes. Still working on the new studio. Plan is to be in there pretty soon, though. Beginning of this season, obviously, which is right around the corner. You guys, we should be coming to you from a nice brand new studio that Josh has been putting his blood, sweat, and tears into, and we've heard all about and have done zero to help. So we're kind of crappy podcast hosts, but it's an exciting time, and we hear it's really cool. We're going to take Josh's word for it until he tells us that we're allowed to come over. So thank you guys for being here. Anybody who's already been in here waiting for us, I think we got a pretty fun live set up today. We're going to get into some of our hot takes / bold predictions for the upcoming season, not just for the Browns, but also just kind of for the NFL as a whole. I think you guys will probably have some good ones for us to get into also in the chat. Keep that chat going per usual. It always gives us good stuff to talk about. We love your guys' energy. Before we get into the episode, while we're letting this thing fill up, remember, if you want to get your intros or your voicemails on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. We have a voicemail to get to today. So that's always exciting. As the season is right here, we're in game week. We love getting your guys' thoughts, especially post-game. Getting your guys' thoughts on the show is a ton of fun. So make sure you drop us voicemails this season. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, tap the notification bell so you never miss any new content. You've also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you prefer to just listen to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page. We have 5 fantasy redraft leagues going on, plus a dynasty league with all the Dog Pack members. You get access to the private Discord, which everybody seems to love. You get an extra episode every single week, except for last week. I guess we were lazy. So I will say 99.9% of the time you get an extra episode, and it's usually a good one. So if you want more content, you want to hang out with the Dogs, especially during this season, which we think is going to be a fun, exciting season, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member.
I think last week we were pretty busy putting together those fantasy drafts, which on the after hour show tonight, I do want to dive into some like the craziest draft picks that got made in each of our leagues, and maybe
I already know the answer. And if she's in here,
she is. I just
feel
saw her.
really bad. But Mama Tendo took David Njoku, I think, in round 2.
I think so,
and that
too.
was shocking, to say the least.
Very aggressive move. Very, very trend-setting.
She did say it was her first ever year doing fantasy.
Everybody's got to learn.
Yep. So I think we got a fun episode today. Before we get to our hot takes and bold predictions and whatnot, though, we did have a voicemail we wanted to get to. So we'll go ahead and play this for you guys.
Can't help but get excited. I'm very positive, yet I do know these first 4 games are so crucial. And I wanted to ask the question, with these first 4 games having 3 games in the division, how much do you think this season will be decided after the first 4 games going into the bye? In my opinion, we don't come out of those first 4 games 3-1 with at least 2 games won in the division. Going to be an uphill battle. I really don't know if we can do it. Just wanted to hear your thoughts. Go Browns. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
So those first 4 games. Yep.
So thanks again, Kyle, for the voicemail. We appreciate it. Again, if you want to get your voicemails on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com. Leave us a voicemail. So first, I can't believe we're in game week. How great. I feel like the offseason went really fast. I feel like we made so many moves. It was like one exciting thing after another. It really kept the offseason moving along. And now it's finally here. We can stop talking. We can actually play and watch football. I'm excited for the season. I'm also positive. I'm also so nervous just because the Browns have browned so many times in this. It almost reminds me of it was like 2007 or whatever when we went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs. We were on Sports Illustrated cover the next year. Everybody's picked to make a playoff run, and I think we won 4 games. I think we went 4-12. Derek Anderson's not our quarterback anymore, and we got better weapons than Braylon Edwards. So I like to think we're going to be better off this year, but I'm excited, I'm positive, and I'm just freaking nervous as crap because I don't want them to Browns this year. In terms of how we have to get started this year, he said 3-1, 2-1 division through those first four. I think we could survive and be 2-2. To me, the most important game is week 1 because I think this division we're gonna beat each other up this year. But for some reason, the Bengals the Steelers and the Ravens can't seem to figure out how to beat the Bengals. You know what I mean? Like we're the only team in the division lately who can beat the Bengals on a consistent basis. So I think that makes week 1 super important because you can't bank on getting any help from these other guys right now against the Bengals. The Bengals seem to have their number. So I feel like getting off to 1-0 and getting that game up on Cincy early, I feel like that's key because the rest of the division opponents seem to struggle with them.
Agreed.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, last year we kept losing close games. It was unreal. But it looked like the Ravens were really trying to let us catch them at one point. So, man, I'm just not worried about. I think if we lose 2 games, even if we start 1-3, it's not like the playoffs are impossible at that point. So, I mean, I don't know that I agree. If we get a rough start to the season, I still think the playoffs are very much in reach because we're a good enough team. And, it all really just depends on when you get hot. If we get hot at any point, and string together a bunch of wins, we're probably going to be in the playoffs. I know we're in a tough division, but I mean, I wouldn't put the whole season on the first 4 games personally.
I mean, I understand what he's saying though. If you look at the first 4 weeks, you got at Cleveland with the Bengals, then we're going to Pittsburgh, then it's back in Cleveland to face the Titans, and then back in Cleveland again for the Ravens. You got 3 divisional games right off the bat in the first 4 weeks. So it is kind of critical. I mean, if we come out and I think we should win that Bengals game. I don't think Joe Burrow's 100%. Steelers game, it's a toss-up. And then I think we beat the Titans, and I think we should beat the Ravens in Cleveland. That'll be a toss-up. But, I think I'm with Blake, 2-2, all hope's not lost. But, I mean, I'd like to see 3-1 and then have a nice, we're up there with the division. Let's stay in the battle. Let's not talk about, we're in week 8 and this is all the things that we need to do for us to make a playoffs or win the division. Let's just go out and punch them in the mouth. Take care of business. This is a good roster. We can make
the playoffs if Venus aligns with Jupiter just right.
And the moon's got to also be lined up correctly. I don't want to do that this year. And I don't think Browns fans deserve to have to do that every year. Let's have some fun this year.
I'll say this. I wanted to say, it's a case of survive early because we get some winnable games down the stretch, So if you can kind of stay afloat early in the season, find your groove, then we can win some games late. But, man, as you look through our schedule, this is the toughest 4th place schedule I feel like I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the best part about the beginning of the schedule is that a lot of the games are at home. You know what I mean? Yep. We got the Bengals at home, the Ravens at home, the Niners at home, the Titans at home. So there's a lot of games that are winnable, but we don't have any stretch of games this year. There's no 4-game stretch where I'm like, favorite. Okay, let's chalk these up to wins. We might get we get the Colts, but then it's sandwiched between the 49ers and the Seahawks. You know what I mean? So there's not going to be a lot. There's not going to be a point in this season where it's okay, we can find our footing here. We got to come out ready to play right away, or it's gonna be tough.
Yep. I like what Jim Kogar said in the comments here, though. He said you got to stay positive until they give us a reason not to. And I totally get it. I totally get that last year they gave us a whole lot of reasons not to be positive. But we have, throughout the offseason here, tried to separate last season from this season because it's a completely different, the coaching staff is different. The roster is different. Starting now until they do give us a reason to start doubting what they can do, I do want to stay positive, cautiously optimistic. I'm not coming out here saying we're trouncing everybody on the schedule, but the way our defense looked in the preseason, and I keep saying this every episode, the way the fourth and fifth stringers just had tenacity and intensity, and they were just playing with grit. I liked it, man. It just looks like we're going to be able to get after the quarterback, make, pass throwers into bad decisions. It's just, I'm excited to see the defense. The defense really has me pumped.
Yeah, me too. I want to say I'm not nervous about the defense at all. The offense is and I'm not, we talked about this. I'm not nervous about the offense. I'm just cautiously optimistic more so until I see it with my own eyes early in the season. But the defense, I think the biggest concern about the defense is we're going to play so aggressive that I could see us occasionally giving up like a 3rd and long on like a screen pass or a draw or something like that, because we're just going to be playing so fast, pinning our ears back. Not as bad as like if Greg Williams was our defensive coordinator, but from time to time, like, don't be shocked if it's 3rd and 12 and they run a screen pass for 15. Just, you know what I mean? Like, because we're going to be coming after it.
Yeah, it's the NFL. Aggressive. I mean, we're playing pro offenses too. I mean, they're going to move the ball at times, and it's just a matter of overpowering them more often than they overpower us, which I feel like we've got the defensive personnel right now to do that. Yeah,
which we're going to get into week 1 and stuff like that on our preview episode and later when we do some of our hot takes. So we don't want to spoil anything, but I think if you want to hear some stuff about those games, make sure you guys you keep listening. So before we get into our hot takes, I think Josh wanted to talk to us about how to throw our lives away while gambling.
Yeah, we could have some fun this weekend, Ohio. Caesar Sportsbook kicking off.
Just lost that sponsor.
What?
Just lost that sponsor.
All right, so Caesar Sportsbook's kicking off the NFL season with a new bet, $50, get $250 in bonus bets. It's a limited time offer. New users can sign up with our code DAWGSGET, one word, DAWGSGET, and redeem $250 in bonus bets after placing your first wager of $50 on any NFL game. And even if that first bet loses, you will receive one $50 bonus bet credit each week over the next 5 weeks. So make sure you enter our code DAWGSGET while signing up. Have a bet on Caesars every week for the start of the season. That's code DAWGSGET. Offers only available for new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in Ohio. Please gamble responsibly. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Check the episode description for the full terms of the offer to see if you can qualify.
All right. By the way, I was just kidding, sponsor. We like to keep it loose on this show. So today we wanted to get into, we do an episode like this kind of every year. We want to talk about some, not even necessarily hot takes. It can be hot takes and just like some bold predictions for the year. I bring this up all the time, but last year I boldly predicted the Lions would finish ahead of the Packers in their division, and I was right, per usual. So just some stuff like that. So we're just going to get this thing started. If you guys have any bold predictions or hot takes, drop them in the comments. We can kind of get into them. So I just kind of want to kick it off to you guys. John, you said you had one that might get me a little bit fired up. So why don't we go with you first?
Oh, boy. Justin talked me into saying this.
Is this a Browns hot? Okay, is this a Browns hot take, or is this just a league-wide hot take?
This is a league-wide hot take. I was going to tone it down, and Justin really just talked me into saying this, so here we go.
Let's go.
Bears are winning the NFC North.
Here we go. All right, tell us why. Don't let Blake steal your moment. Tell us why.
I had them winning at least 10 games this year. I mean, the Vikings have to take a step back. I mean, if they win 13 again, then obviously I'd have to change my hot take. I don't think the Bears are going to win 13 games. I think they can be an 11 and 12 win team pretty easily. Justin Fields is a freak. I don't see him getting worse. I see him getting better. And he just got a really, really sweet weapon to throw to. I think they're going to be a tough offense to figure out. And I got him winning the division.
Ahead of the Lions and ahead of the Vikings.
Yes, sir.
All right, chat. What do you guys think of this hot take?
So,
what do you think, Justin?
So here's my thing: is I like when he said it. I've kind of bounced this idea around like all off season. if DJ Moore is anything like a wide receiver one that we've seen other quarterbacks, the progression that they take when they actually get a number one weapon, and everybody's like, well, DJ Moore is not a number one. He was pretty damn good on 4 really awful teams in Carolina. And I don't know if he's going to a better situation, but he played with terrible, terrible quarterbacks in Carolina. Darnold, PJ Walker, the list goes on. There's a lot of them. I don't really have time to pull that roster up right now. But I do think that this is a great opportunity for him. And then if Fields takes that next step, you know what you're getting with the legs. You're getting 700, 800, 900 yards of rushing maybe. And then let's say he learns to heave the ball around with DJ Moore. And Cole Kmet's nice. I'm not sold on Claypool. I don't know exactly what's going on with him there, but I do think that they can take a step.
I agree that they could take a step, and they were a team on the Browns' schedule that I didn't just chalk up to like an easy W because I do think they take a step. I don't know if they win 10 or 11 games. Yeah, I don't know. I think Justin Fields can throw the ball. A lot of people don't think he can. And we've seen these teams add a number one wide receiver and the quarterback take a big step. But, man, he's been really bad throwing the ball. Like, very – you know what I mean? Like Jalen Hurts, when he made his big leap or Josh Allen made his big leap, I feel like you could tell there was something there. And again, we watched Justin at Ohio State. So, we obviously think he's good, and I think he can throw better than most people give him credit for. At Ohio State, that's what he was known for. I feel like he was a pocket passer that could also run. He wasn't a scrambler with throwing issues. So it's not your worst hot take, John. I don't know. You say the Vikings have to take a step back. I guess in theory, like they're not going to be 10-0 or 11-0 in one-score games again, more than likely. But I could make the argument that they're not going to be in as many one-score games. Second year in the new coach's system, they added Jordan Addison, who I think is going to be a steal. They just paid T.J. Hawkinson. He's got a full offseason with them under his belt now. So I think it's tough. And the Lions are everybody's darling in that division this year. So. But not the worst thing you've ever said, John. You thought I was going to get all bent out of shape, but I don't think they win the division, but I think they at least can make it interesting.
Yeah,
agreed.
All right, who wants to go next?
Anybody?
Justin, go ahead.
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, Justin. You got it.
So for my NFL hot take, your 2023 MVP will be Trevor Lawrence. Hot take. That's my hot take. So let me defend it real quick before I get just fried for this. But the progression that he showed last year when he got a real NFL coach and not Urban Meyer, you saw a huge leap as far as how he felt about confidence, how he saw the game. And that was throwing to Christian Kirk, who was just a notorious elite slot receiver as his number one. They just added Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley, I don't know if you guys seen anything from preseason with this guy. He's going to go off. He is completely healthy, and he is just as elite as he was. And I think people forget how good he was when he left the league on that year suspension. I could see him putting up 1,400 yards just on his own. I could see Kirk putting up close to 1,000. I think Travis Etienne is going to be even better than he was last year coming off that injury. I mean, I really, really do believe that Lawrence can take that step, and I think that he will be the MVP. I truly believe that.
I don't even think that's really a hot take.
I told Josh that. I said it's not really a hot take, but he's not that.
I said he's probably not your front runner.
You know what I mean?
In anybody's betting right now.
Oh,
but
hell no.
But it's not a hot take to me too, because that's what he was drafted. He was looked at as the best prospect since Andrew Luck, and he finally got an NFL coach. And he plays in a division that's not very good this year, in my opinion. So I think he's got a chance to win a lot of games and put up a lot of yards. So to me, that's not crazy at all. I think and we play them this year, right? If I remember correctly, we play them.
I didn't think so.
Yeah,
but maybe
we do.
I'm wrong.
We play them late. So that's a potential
Well,
big
that's another
matchup.
tough game.
I think it's in November.
So we got a couple in the chat before
Yeah, December 10th.
or before Josh goes, and I wanted to get into because a couple of these are interesting. It says this is from Gage Tucker. It says Baker Mayfield wins the NFC South and goes to the playoffs with the Bucks. No.
Wait. Okay, say that again.
His hot take is that Baker Mayfield wins the NFC South and goes to the playoffs with the Bucks.
Okay, so
that is hot.
It's a hot take. It's a very hot take. And if the Saints don't have Carr, I think that you could listen to arguments on this because I think that division kind of sucks. It's not very
but
good.
there's no argument.
Awful.
I think there's a better chance Mike Evans is traded at the trade deadline than Baker Mayfield goes to the playoffs with them this year.
For sure, man.
That's a
I mean,
hot
we
take
saw
back.
him in the NFC South last year in Carolina, and it didn't last very long.
No,
I don't think it's going to last long this year.
Mike Evans, I fear for Mike Evans' 1,000-yard season streak because what we know about Baker Mayfield is you can't have a number one because he'll feel pressured to get him the ball, and then so Mike Evans is never getting the ball this year. So I don't see that happening at all. I think there's a better chance that Trask is starting halfway through the season. That everybody's high on Baker because he played so well in the preseason. The preseason is tailor-made for Baker Mayfield to succeed. He's going against second and third stringers. He's going against vanilla defenses. There's not as much of a pass rush. He doesn't have to come off of a read. His number one's not playing, so he doesn't have to worry about playing with a number one receiver. It's tailor-made for him to be successful in the preseason. So I would say there's almost zero chance. I give that almost no chance.
It's funny because I've heard a lot of people and some other shows and things talk about Baker Mayfield potentially being the Geno Smith this year that everybody's kind of sleeping on. He's going to have this outstanding season. And I keep thinking to myself, no, he's going to be the Baker Mayfield of this year. Because like you said, Blake, last year it was, the Carolina's finally got a quarterback. DJ Moore things are looking great. This offense is rolling. They're rolling in the season with Baker. They're happy, blah, blah, blah. Look how it went.
And Tom Brady didn't play well there last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so their offensive line's not as good anymore. They just lost Jensen's career's over.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I feel like he's going to be running for his life. It's just, to me, that's not going to be good. I did see another one in here. From Pastor Rob, and he called it last year with the Broncos. He said the Ravens are going to finish with a top 4 pick. He thinks they're going to. So basically, he's saying the Ravens are going to be
Terrible.
cheeks. He called it. He called it with the Broncos last year. Last year, he said the Seahawks would have a top 5 pick, and it wouldn't be one of their own. It wouldn't be theirs, and it would be the Broncos. So I don't think I would ever pick the Ravens to finish that low just because of how well they run their organization, how good of a coach they have, and stuff like that. But I've been I don't think they have that much. I think you could make the argument they're the least talented roster, top to bottom, in the division.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on it just depends on Lamar.
They don't have as good of receivers as us or the Bengals or the Steelers. They don't have as good of an offensive line as us. They don't have, they have Marlon Humphrey, and they have a healthy J.K. Dobbins this year, but he's not the best running back. They don't have the best of anything in the division, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I won't call him crazy for saying that. He said top 5, not top 4, so I didn't want to take his words. But, he said, I think Monk screws them. I completely agree. I've been telling Ravens fans to get to this somehow high-tempo, air-it-out attack with Lamar. That does not play to his strengths whatsoever. That is not, to me, that's just a recipe for disaster. So I don't know if I'll go as far as to say top 5, but if we're just looking on paper. Now, again, I don't think they'll be bad just because they have a great coach. Their guys are going to play smart. They have Justin Tucker who wins games for them. Lamar can control the clock with his running. Like, they're going to be a tough out, but I think they, top to bottom, have the least talented roster in the division. Is that my hot take? Maybe that the Ravens
could
have
be
the
a hot
I think that might be your hot take, but I mean,
bro. I mean, that's shots fired.
I mean, to be like, at least on their offense, outside of Lamar, who are you afraid of? Mark Andrews?
I like Mark Andrews. I think Zay Flowers has a lot of potential.
But I'm not giving him that until.
No, that's fair. I'm cool with that. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I'm not
think
afraid
he's the best
of Odell.
receiver.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of Odell right now. I'm not afraid of Bateman right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's just nothing that scares me about that offense.
Mm-hmm. I think they always seem to play tough defense. For if there was one thing about the Ravens that always gives me pause, I guess it would be that.
So, all right, Josh, you want to give one of yours?
Sure. I'll stick with the theme here and stick with the league-wide hot takes. My hot take is that the Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo will be injured within the first half of the season, and the preseason rookie sensation Aiden O'Connell will take over, and he's going to earn that starting quarterback job, and he's going to have it for years to come. I'm predicting like a Dak Prescott, Tony Romo situation here. It was kind of interesting to see Aiden O'Connell's name pop up during the preseason, the way he was playing, because I had looked at his stats specifically in the offseason when I was talking about David Bell, because he was Bell's quarterback at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
So just real quick, in the preseason, I know, and I get it, guys. I know it's preseason, but still. He led quarterbacks. He was 43 of 62, 69%, completion, 482 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks over 3 games. He only took 1 sack on 64 dropbacks, quarterback rating of 108.4. So I could see the Raiders being comfortable moving to him. Even if Jimmy maybe even doesn't get hurt, if they're playing poorly, if they're losing games, I could see them trying to figure out, do we have something here, or are we picking again, looking for a quarterback next offseason?
My hot take, Josh McDaniels doesn't survive the season.
Yeah, that would probably be part of it. Yep.
I mean, I've never seen such like I think I think Derek Carr is better than Jimmy G. Can we agree on that? Like, Derek Carr is better than Jimmy. You know what I mean?
I don't even think that's a hot take. That's like a common fact.
Yes, like put Derek Carr on the Niners with that stability and Shanahan calling plays in that offense. Like, he would have won a lot of games too. Nobody's dealt with more dysfunction on a year-to-year basis almost than Derek Carr. So, like, they downgraded at quarterback, in my opinion, and on a season in which they severely disappointed a lot of people, including myself. And we're supposed to think that they're going to get better. I think Josh McDaniels it's proving he's not a head coach. And you're kind of seeing, like, a lot of people who come from the Belichick tree, they're not head coaches. Matt Patricia was very bad. I think that the one who had the most success was Flores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, see, E-Unit here says Carr won it out. I think that's true. I think you're going to see that with Devontae Adams this year. I think he's a trade candidate, before the deadline, going somewhere to make a run. Things are good. I mean, the NFL season is so much fun. Just crazy things happen that you never see coming, and I just can't wait for it all.
I think I agree with you that he gets hurt, and I like O'Connell. I hope he gets a chance. I could see them being just good enough where they miss out on like a Caleb Williams or what's the other kid's name? Drake May. I could see them like winning 5 games and then they don't get that elite quarterback, and then they're still. It kind of happened to them this year. They were a 7th pick, so you miss on Stroud, you miss on Young, you miss on Richardson if you're interested on him.
I think 5 games could be tough for them. I think the Broncos are going to be way better. They got the Chargers. They got the Chiefs. You know what I mean?
They're pretty good. Yeah.
Yep. So my hot take, we'll move into that. This is a Browns hot take. And this is gonna fire up a lot of Kentuckians. But I think the Browns boat race the Bengals week 1. Like
now the chat's gonna love that one. Yes, sir.
Yes, like I just have this feeling this could come back to bite me, and then it'll be playing all over TikTok. And it is what it is. It's a hot take episode, but we match up well with them. I mean, their strength is Joe Burrow and their receivers. We have a crazy good pass rush and a very long, athletic, physical secondary. And so we match up well with them. And it's tough to get the ball to these guys when he's going to be running for his life. Like, if I'm the Bengals, if I'm not putting him out there if he's not 100%. Because I think he's going to be running we pressure him and sack him and make his life miserable when it was Myles Garrett in the clown cart next to him with Joe Woods calling the defense. No pressures, no creativity, no aggression, just sitting back in zone and letting them pick. That's not going to be the case this year. And Denzel Ward practiced today. It's looking like he's going to play now. I don't think they match up well with us at all. They are replacing almost their entire secondary. That doesn't bode well going against Deshaun and a revamped receiver core. They played well against Nick Chubb in the game they beat us last year, in which we had a 5th-string center playing and an 8th-string guard playing. So we come into this game healthy. Our defense is revamped. It's going to be at home. I think there's a ton of energy in Cleveland this year for week 1. It's going to be a hostile environment. To me, this is a bad matchup for them. Let me
just chime in because this goes with what you're saying. Because I went back and did a quick film study on that loss last year when Deshaun Watson got his start against the Bengals. It was the second game back. And honestly, I wouldn't even say that the Bengals played good against Chubb. It was essentially they got out to an early lead because our defense just wasn't holding them to much of anything. They were just kind of going down the field and scoring. Deshaun was kind of still getting slow moving, but I mean, he threw the ball 42 times in that game. We had to throw. They eliminated our run game early. I think this is going to be a completely different story.
I know. And is there any fan base that is just more like has come out of the woodwork and talked more trash and ran their mouths more about nothing than the Cincinnati Bengals? Like, I didn't even know you guys had fans for 99% of my life, and all of a sudden you lose a Super Bowl and like you just run your mouth like you're the Patriots dynasty. It is crazy. Like, what have you done? Like, I'm not saying we've done anything, but we don't run our mouths. The Bengals fans just coming out of and we're not front runners either. We're 0-16 filling the stadium. Your playoffs can't get a sellout. Like, it is like anytime I see a Bengals fan, I want to say, who was your favorite team 15 years ago? Because it probably wasn't the Bengals. It is just, and I know I'm probably making a lot of people angry right now, but I don't care.
Not me, bro. I'm good. Taking it in.
I don't know. It doesn't matter what the Bengals ever do. They're always just going to be the Bengals. They're irrelevant. They barely have their little corner of the state, and outside of like Northern Kentucky, nobody cares about the Bengals. So that's my hot take. I think it's a runaway train, and it's not good for the Bengals.
I love that.
Just to add to what you said too, they said Burrow would have been limited last week, and now he's a full participant, good to go. If he's not good to go,
it's going to show quick.
It's going to show quick. And my thing is, I'm like, if he's even slightly, there's a risk to get him hurt, and you lose him for the rest of the season, your season's over. So to me, it's just wild that they're gonna. Maybe he says, he's good to go. I'm interested to see if he plays. I want him to play. I want to see both teams 100% full go. Who's better? I want all that right now. And then in Cleveland too, they're going to do a big thing for Jim Brown. Like there's no way that Browns players can go in there and lose that game after probably they're going to do a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get ugly. And like you said, if to me a calf strain doesn't heal that quick. Like, didn't he get carted off?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he came back real quick. And this is one of those things, these non-contact injuries, you see them with like hamstrings and stuff where a guy tries to come back too soon.
Yes.
And it's one wrong move and he's done for the – I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba last year cost him an entire season at Iowa State because he tried to come back too quick. And it's going to take one fast twitch movement, and that thing's going to pop or strain, and it's going to be done. And he's going to be running for his – I don't think people understand just what the Browns defense is going to be capable of this year.
Man.
Like, it is – it's going to be – I think of it in terms of like what we've seen out of the 49ers and the Eagles last year. Just like you can't move the ball on them. It's relentless. Like that's what I think the Browns defense is going to be like this year, especially the front seven. So good luck, Cincinnati. But I think it's going to get ugly. That's my hot take.
You went and you had mentioned, I think 2 or 3 times now, you're a little more worried about the offense than the defense. I totally agree with that. And the biggest reason I'm not worried about the offense is because we haven't even seen Nick Chubb yet, and we know what he can do. But, man, I totally agree. Our defense is so stout right now. Like, what are you doing to this defense, and how are you doing it? I don't know. I just don't see anyone having that much success against us.
No, I think the Browns are going to be even if we come out and the offense is terrible, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think the Browns will be in every game because of their defense. Like, they're going to make every game competitive.
Yeah, I went back and looked, and against Joe Burrow-led Bengals teams, and we can dive more into this in our preview show, Myles Garrett averages 1.8 sacks a game. And that was with Joe Woods and really nobody else on the defensive line to help him. Here we go.
Yep, it's gonna get crazy. So, well, we got a little bit more time. You guys got more?
Well,
we got our
Browns ones. Yep.
I got a Browns. Yeah, I got a Browns hot take.
I can do this real quick.
Let's do it.
Cleveland Browns lead the NFL in takeaways this year.
Ooh, after sucking for the last 3 years.
Is that I don't think it's gonna be a hot take.
You don't think it's that hot?
I don't think it's that hot.
It's possible.
No, I don't think it's too hot. I think it's warm, or it's bold. It's bold.
Yeah, we'll call it.
Second. We're leading the NFL.
It's
We are
underlined.
leading the NFL in takeaways this year.
Okay.
A lot of strip sacks and a lot of. I mean, our secondary is so good. A lot of pressures are going to turn into interceptions, and we're going to get a lot of strip sacks. It's going to be so much fun.
I agree. I could see this being the case, like you said, because quarterbacks are going to be forced to make quick decisions. So our DBs are going to be able to get up and press and play tight on these guys because they don't have to. They're not going to have to worry about getting beat deep as often or having to cover for 5-6 seconds because the defensive line is going to get home. I think Jim Schwartz has said he's going to bring at least 5 every time. I mean, I'm sure that's like hyperbole. It's not going to be, but that tells me he's not going to be sitting back. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to be coming after it, playing in your face, like our hair's on fire for all the high school football coaches listening. No, I could see us forcing a lot of turnovers and hopefully being positive. I would have to look, but I feel like the Browns are probably negative in the turnover ratio all the time. My child is looking at me through this bedroom window.
Very cool.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Chat, what do you guys think? Are we going to take away? Andrew Jackson says Greg Newsome will be the number 1 corner for the team and lead the team in INTs.
I disagree. Martin Emerson.
I think
That'd be mine. That'd be mine.
You know, in this new system, I mean, I would be so excited to see Denzel Ward, but I'm beginning to worry about his health.
No,
Man,
I agree.
I'm so bummed out for him. It's not even that I think our guys can't step up, and I think we can play well without Ward. I'm truly bummed out for him, though. I mean, he was on pace to be maybe the most talked about corner in the league, and he just keeps getting concussions.
Jim Kogar says that Garrett and Smith will combine for 38 sacks.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's a lot.
A hot take, bro. That is a hot take, brother.
Yeah, that's 19 apiece. If my math is right, if I can use my fingers.
Or, 22, 23, 24 for Miles, sack record.
That's a lot.
I did say I think he could get 22. I think the record could be on the table this year because of the help he's got and the system he's going to be in.
16 last year, and it was a crappy defensive line.
30. If he gets to it, if we get to 38, I would like to say that the Browns were probably pretty successful. That's a lot of sacks. Everybody's got to stay healthy. I guess it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I think the interior D-line is just so much better this year that it's going to really help out the edge.
Yeah.
Like these guys aren't going to be able to just step up into the pocket and be comfortable because they'll be stepping up into Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, Maurice Hurst. So, I mean, we're going to be rotating guys in the interior that would have been starters for us last year, and they're 3rd and 4th on the depth chart this year.
Yes, sir.
25 for Miles and 2K for Nick Chubb.
I don't know.
25. Listen, I'm not gonna say he's gonna get 25. I think the record is there for the taking, but we've also haven't seen Miles put together like a complete season. I think this is the year he does it. But I'm gonna stick with he can get to 20, and I think if he stays healthy and stuff, he can get to the record. He can get to 22. So we'll see. Justin, do you have another bold prediction / hot take?
I do. I do have a bold prediction / hot take. Cleveland Browns related. So mine will be David Njoku, tight end, will lead. I'll say we'll be in the top 3 discussion of tight ends as far as red zone touchdowns, red zone targets. So honestly, I don't even think it's really that big of a hot take. If he's used like he's been used the last few years and it's just progressed. Last year he was 9th, I believe, in all offensive weapons as far as yards in the red zone. And the only other tight end that was even in that discussion was Travis Kelce. And I want to say Travis Kelce was like 1 or 2. And Njoku somewhere in 9 and then unranked in the other one. But I think that, to me, that's an easy hot take. I'm taking that. I'm running with it. I think he'll be utilized a lot in the end zone. And he's such a big body receiver, just a target that he should just cash in all day.
I like it. I would go, if you want to make it a real hot take, say he'll lead the league in touchdowns receptions for a tight end.
Let's do that then. Let's do that. You know,
I'll make the argument for that. I could see, obviously, Travis Kelce's best tight end in football.
Absolutely.
Plays in the best system for it. But I could see this injury lingering, you know, and him missing a significant portion of the season. So why don't you just say it? Why don't you just say David Njoku is going to lead the league in touchdown receptions for tight ends this year?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Or
that's the hot take. There we go. Like Pastor Rob said, you got to make them spicy. I think he could do it.
Cayenne pepper. Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Because if the tight end position, first of all, it's Travis Kelce and then a bunch of other people. And we saw the kind of success that Deshaun Watson had with Akins. And Njoku's a better athlete than he is. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a shot. I like it. All right, who's next?
I think that would leave me with my Browns hot take, bold prediction. So I was telling Justin before the show, I went back and looked. Jim Schwartz in his 6 years with the Eagles as the defensive coordinator, not a single linebacker made the Pro Bowl. But defensive tackle Fletcher Cox made the Pro Bowl every year he was there. So we know that defensive tackle was the focus. But I noticed that strong safety Malcolm Jenkins was a Pro Bowler in 17 and 18. And I think this year, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah becomes a Pro Bowl linebacker in Jim Schwartz's defense. So I'm saying this, it's his 3rd season. He's just 23 years old still. When he was a rookie in 21, 76 tackles, 3 tackle for loss, 1.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. In 22, had some injuries, still racked up 70 tackles, 7 tackle for loss. He didn't have any sacks, but he had 2 more forced fumbles, 3 less games than his first year. And I'm shooting for he gets over the 100 tackle mark, 2 sacks. He grabs 2 interceptions this year, and he also returns a fumble for a touchdown.
Man, your takes are very detailed.
It's crazy.
Spicy.
Because I don't even know if that's enough to get a Pro Bowl nod. Nah, I'm just being honest.
Those numbers are more than what Malcolm Jenkins had those years that he made the Pro Bowl.
Last year? Okay.
And I know I said he was strong safety, JOK's linebacker, but we know that he's more of that linebacker, strong safety type of hybrid player.
Yeah,
he's not just a straight up linebacker. So I think that either way, I am projecting a huge just breakout, pop off the screen type season for JOK behind this defensive line.
I think all our linebackers have a chance to be way better this year just because of how much better the defensive line is going to play.
Yep.
I was trying to think of one on the fly. I didn't.
Okay.
I think I came up. I said the Ravens had the least talented roster on paper, and I said we were going to boat race the Bengals. I feel like those would get the people fired up.
Yep.
Is there? Did anybody hit John? Did you have any more, or are you good? Did you say your Browns won yet?
Yeah, takeaways, man.
That's right.
Thank you to Anthony Smith. He just gave me half a tank of gas.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate that. We don't. John lives in Amish country, though. He doesn't need gas.
No, I ride a horse to work every day.
Yeah. Any hot takes here? Any bold predictions in the chat, guys? So we still got like 10, 15 minutes. Anything else we need to cover?
I mean, I was just gonna go ahead, John.
I just want to shout out Gage real quick. Were you being serious when you said Russell gets benched this year?
They can't afford to bench him.
That's kind of what I was going to say. It's the same thing with, Deshaun. If he struggled that badly, we're paying him too much money. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I didn't even know if he was being serious or not.
The only thing that would bail the Browns out if Deshaun, for some reason, is awful is that DTR is on a rookie contract and seems to be good.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So like that, he could be our Brock Purdy potentially. That's the only thing bailing out the 49ers is the fact that that Brock Purdy is good. At least we think so.
Mm-hmm.
He says, serious Sean Payton doesn't care. My hot take will be that Russell Wilson has a bounce back season. I think a lot of that was Nathaniel Hackett was not very good. To me, Sean Payton too, like he just won't put up with Russell's bull crap. You know what I mean? Like he just won't, he'll just hold him accountable. Russell was large last year. Like he looked like he put on 20-some pounds of not muscle. He looks like he's more in shape this year. So the biggest hot take that I was thinking about, and I don't have a lot of evidence, it's just like a gut feeling, was going to be fantasy football related. And it was going to be to people that took Bijan Robinson in the first round are going to be sorely disappointed.
Interesting.
I feel like he's getting so much hype, and he's going to the Falcons, and everybody knows he's good, and they're about to start Desmond Ridder at quarterback, and it's going to be load the box and make Desmond Ridder beat you with his arm. And to me, he might be really, really good, but I just think he's going to cost a lot of people. I don't think he's going to have the crazy rookie year people were taking him like top 5. I'm not talking about rookie drafts. I'm talking about redrafts.
Yeah. He's going first round in rookie draft, in redraft all day. Back end of first round. I've seen him go every time first round.
Yeah, I think
maybe beginning of the second round.
That would be it would be a hot take if that came true, just because of what the Falcons did last year with. I think Marcus Mariota is probably worse than Desmond Ridder, and they had a 5th round, I think it is, Tyler Algier, rookie running back last year, go for over 1,000. I think they were number 2 in the league in rushing.
What do we have, though, evidence-wise, that says Desmond Ridder is better than Marcus Mariota?
Though the evidence is Marcus Mariota himself.
Well, Marcus Mariota's at least played in the NFL.
Yeah, so is Baker Mayfield, and both of them got benched.
Okay, but you have no evidence to support Desmond Ridder being better. There's no evidence.
You have no evidence to say he's worse, though.
I know
he came
that
in last year. He started games last year.
How well did he play?
Well, let me get some stats. Hold on. Go ahead, continue your arguments.
I have
thing
no
is-
dog in this fight. I have another hot take in the chat here I want to get to when you guys are done.
What's this other hot take?
Anthony Smith said that Jed Wills is going to be an all-pro this year. That, to me, is a hot take for the Browns.
It's a hot take. That's for sure a hot take.
Honest
Yeah.
to-
No, he's a better player with a lot more effort.
He needs to play the way that DeJuan Jones plays. Watching that kid in the preseason, he followed through every block, every play, through the whistle.
Yeah, here's the thing is I think Jedrick Wills' ceiling is really high. There's a reason we took him as high as we did. There's a reason Joe Thomas, that was his favorite guy, was Jed Wills. You know what I mean? Like, I think it just seems that if he gets beat or if he loses a step, he just stops. You know what I mean? Like, I've never watched a starting left tackle just stand there and watch his quarterback get hit more than Jed Wills. Like, at least try to make up for missing the block. Don't let this guy it's like he's like, oh, I lost that rep. I'm just going to stand here now. So unless that changes, I don't see a Pro Bowl happening. Or an all-pro.
Yeah, you said all-pro. That's the top
Yes.
of the top.
Did you find some stats, Justin?
Yeah, but I mean, they weren't like really convincing either way. Mariota was like very mediocre. It was like 61% completion, percent, 2,200 yards, 15 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Desmond had 2 games he started, 700 and something yards, 708 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, 63% completion.
So they're comparable.
So I don't think they're like world beating each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd feel like at least at one point in their lives, Mariota's ceiling was way higher than Desmond Ritter's. And he's going to be a rookie, or I guess he's not a rookie, first-time starter though, like full season. So I don't know. I didn't watch Bijan play a lot in Texas, so I'm just going off like the hype, and it seems like a lot of times, like this hype, sometimes it gets you. So that's my hot take. We'll see. If he does good for them. Hopefully we don't ever have to play him then.
And they can always stick Taylor Heineke in there too.
Yeah.
So this is hot take. Jets miss the playoffs. I almost said that. I almost made that.
Now there's you want to talk about hype. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of hype around a team that they win like 7 games last year or something like that.
No, I thought they were better than that, man. They literally were like the number 1 or 2 seed in the AFC heading into like week 9 or something like that, and then like they just finally quarterback play caught up.
They were 7-10.
They were 7-10. Okay, so they just
that's
lost
a lot of hype about a 7-win team. Obviously, they added Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see it going one of 2 ways. I could see them like he comes in and he just transform them and he's everything they needed and he plays at a high level and they're very good. Or I could see it like crash and burning. Like
wasn't 7 wins what the Buccaneers had before they landed the GOAT and got a Super Bowl the very next year?
I think so.
I mean, I'm not saying Super Bowl for the Jets. I'm just saying that let's not gloss over how important it is when you get that good of a quarterback.
And I know Aaron Rodgers did.
It's very important. Very important.
Yeah,
super tough division.
It is. Yeah.
But then when Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, that division was tough. They still had Breeze and the Saints, but Breeze is kind of on his way out. The only pushover really was the Panthers.
Yeah, because Matt Ryan was kind of still serviceable there in Atlanta.
Yep. So, no, I think we had some good hot takes here. Some good bold predictions. Says they finished 9-8. We beat them in the last game to end their playoff hopes. Hopefully we're resting starters in that week.
Yes, and then we still beat them. Out of the playoffs.
But unless you guys got anything, we're pretty much at this hour. I feel like we can probably wrap it up. is as good place as ever.
I was say the last thing.
You
This is no hot take or anything. This is just a quick mention. Anybody listening, we're doing that contest that you might see on the screen, or I think it just passed. Splash Sports. If you go to splashsports.com/dogs, enter our week 1 pick'em contest. So there's only 50 spots in there, and the top 3 scores win money for the week. So if we get a lot of people to enter, and we're doing this pick'em contest, I'll set one up for each week of the season. But week 1 starts tomorrow, so you got to get your picks in.
I got to do mine. Is it against the spread, or is it just the money line? Is it just straight pick 'em?
Just straight pick 'em. Pick the winners.
I like that. That's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to win a lot of money this year doing that.
Yeah, it's just it's $5 entry, and you can enter up to 3 times if you want to. I know a couple people have, so.
Hang on. Gage Tucker's just speaking nonsense now. He said the Baker Mayfield thing. He said the Texans win the AFC South. No way.
Listen, so I told Blake this one, maybe a month ago. So here's the thing. I don't think that they're close. I like their head coach a lot. I know he hasn't done anything in the league, but I think that they're putting pieces together. Like their offseason, they nailed some free agents, some guys that are nice. They have a quarterback. I think Stroud's nice. I don't know how he's going to transition to the NFL. Ohio State quarterbacks haven't been great in the NFL. But I do think they're putting pieces together. They're just very young. They're very, very young. I just don't think they're there yet. And then I think Jaguars are going to be very tough.
They have no skill position. I mean, like Stroud is you and D'Amico Ryans might end up being a really good head coach, but man, if I'm gonna pick a rookie quarterback at number 1 or 2, it was number 2 in the draft, I'm hiring an offensive coach. Like, do we know who's their offensive coordinator? Do we know that?
I have no idea.
Like I don't know. You're just, to me, that is like hiring Vic Fangio when you drafted Drew Lock.
Bobby Slowick. So he was with the 49ers. So they kind of came over together, I think.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I don't know. I don't see them. I don't think they're going to be that good. I think they'll be better than they were last year, but I feel like you're asking him to fight an uphill battle. He's got no skill position. I mean, the skill position in Texas it's awful.
It's pretty thin.
There's nobody there, and I don't know how good's his offensive line.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the worst.
Tunsil.
Yeah,
they got Tunsil still.
It's okay, and in their defense is I don't know. I could see them being like a 4 or 5 win team.
Yeah, the thing is, if I'm just reading here, he was the offensive passing game coordinator for the 49ers. Who knows how much of that Shanahan 49er system he's going to bring over, kind of funnel everything through the run game. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. That would be the smart thing to do. But these teams don't always play it smart. We know that better than anybody.
Let's put money on it. I'll bet you. I only give my money to DraftKings and FanDuel. But all right. Well, we're pretty much right at this. It's $10. That says they win. They have 6 wins minimum. Let me look at their schedule after this. I'll come back to you for that. So we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. We appreciate the chat as always, giving us a bunch of stuff to talk about. Giving us your hot takes. We're going to have a Bengals preview episode coming out later this week. Make sure you check that out. It's finally football season. We finally got games to talk about. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. If you haven't jumped in the dog pack yet, make sure you do that. JoinTheDogs.com. You want to be in the Discord on game days. It's like you're at a sports bar watching the game with a bunch of Browns fans, just nonstop talking about the game. It makes watching football way more fun. So make sure you do that. Jump into the dog pack, hang out with us. We're always in the Discord. It's a ton of fun. A lot of the guys you see in the chat here, and they can attest it's a good time. Again, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate all the support. Thanks for getting us through another long off season. Football is finally here. We can't wait. We'll see you guys later this week when we do our Bengals preview. And until then, go Browns.